Hey there, how's it going? I'm doing great, thanks for asking, because I am so excited to show you how to make these slice and bake shortbread cookies. They are so effing good, and I'm sure you're gonna love them. I'm Michelle from Cup of Zest, and before I get started on making these delicious buttery cookies, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, do it right now. That way you won't miss out on any of the killer party food recipes I've got coming up for you. So subscribe. If you've never made shortbread before, it's this delicious little cookie. It's crumbly, it's buttery, it's a little salty, it's really, really good. And I adore it, so I'm really excited to share this recipe with you. Now, it only has 4 ingredients, so quality absolutely matters, especially with the butter. When I'm making a standard shortbread recipe like this that doesn't have any add-ons in it or anything, you know, like chocolate or cranberries, I really like to splurge and use this Kerrygold butter. Yeah, Kerrygold butter is the way to go. It's super rich, it's super creamy. We're also using salted butter because in shortbread there's not a lot of liquid. So the salt, if you add salt into the recipe, it's not going to dissolve very easily. So salted Kerrygold is the way we are going with this shortbread recipe. All right, to make our sliced and baked shortbread cookies, we've got softened butter, 1 cup. I mean, look at this Kerrygold. It is so pretty. You can see it's also nice and soft. That's about the consistency we want. So into a large bowl it goes, and we're gonna add in our powdered sugar. So we are using 3/4 of a cup powdered sugar, and we are doing the scoop and level method for measuring it out. In the recipe, I also include the weights that you should be using. So if you like to weigh out your ingredients when baking, go ahead and do that. And then we're gonna add in a teaspoon, if I can open this, there we go, a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then when you are measuring any liquids, you should pour them and measure them, you know, to the side of your bowl, not right in front, because if you accidentally spill some, you could just ruin your batter or your dough, so don't do that. So for mixing this dough, you can use a hand mixer or stand mixer. I'm obviously using a hand mixer today, and we're just gonna beat this together until it becomes just light and fluffy. Over medium speed with this hand mixer, it takes about a minute. So this is exactly what we want. It just got light and fluffy. We're not over beating it. And then we're gonna go ahead and add in 2 cups of AP flour. Trusty spoon, again, we're using this scoop and level method. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and beat this on low speed until the dough just comes together, okay? I'll show you what we want too when we get there. You also might wanna scrape the sides of the bowl with a, silicone spat in case things are starting to get stuck on the sides of the bowl like crazy. Just have a spat handy in case you need it, okay? All right, perfect. So you see how that dough is like really just starting to come together here? This is exactly what we want. Now, if you have a bunch stuck in your beaters, just go ahead and use your fingers, stick it all that out. Hands are the best tool you have in the kitchen, so you might as well use them. Now we're gonna go ahead and press this into a nice little log. And you'll need a little bit of flour, just lightly flour your surface. And then we're gonna turn this out. Yep, so you want it that crumbly, that's totally fine. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start just pressing this together. You're not really gonna knead it. You don't want to do like some crazy kneading action, but you wanna push this together so it's one solid log. You got a log of dough over here. This looks about right. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and cut this in half. I've got a bench scraper here, I'm just gonna slice it in half. That's not half, Michelle. Let's see, really in half would be great. There we go. And if you want and you have a scale, and that's how you like to bake, you can go ahead and use a scale to measure out half of the dough. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit more flour down. We're gonna go ahead and roll this out until it's about 6 inches long. Now I'm actually not going to do like a rolling motion so much. I'm actually just going to press and shape it with my hands. I find that's easier with a softer dough like this. Maybe a little rolling at the end. If you're starting to stick on your surface, a little bit more flour, nothing crazy. All right, now let's go ahead and measure this. All right, 6 inches. Right on the nose. So now you're going to take your dough and you're going to wrap it up. I like to use parchment paper. I've cut this parchment paper down to a nice little rectangle. I'm just going to roll this baby up. All right, there we go. There's our lovely little log of shortbread dough. This is gonna go into the fridge and it's gonna hang out for 2 hours, at least 2 hours before we slice and bake it. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up with this other half of dough, and then we're gonna go ahead and chill them both for 2 hours minimum, all wrapped up, and then we'll get into baking them, okay? All right, let's do it. All right, both of our doughs are ready. I'm gonna go ahead and pop them into the fridge. Our cookie dough is nice and chilled. You can see how firm it is here, right? We're gonna go ahead and slice each log into about 10 pieces. And you want them to be about, 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch thick. I, sliced off this little end piece because it's a little funky. I'll still bake it, but I want these slices here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's fine. We can do 8. There we go. All right. We're going to place them onto 2 parchment lined baking sheets, and you just want to evenly space them. They're not really going to spread, so they can be a little bit closer than maybe you would put a sugar cookie. Oh, that guy did not slice that guy very well, so he's going to go in the middle so he doesn't burn. But he still gets baked because, it's going to be delicious. All right, well, didn't slice as many as I was supposed to, but that's okay. They're all going to go on here anyways. All these little funky little bits. There. Here we go. Our beautiful cookies are going to go into the oven at 350 degrees until just around the edges, just slightly brown. Like a tiny little bit of golden brown, okay? So in my oven, that's between 12, 14 minutes. Obviously, you want to keep an eye on yours because you don't want to overcook them. All right, let's go, little guys. Into the oven you go. Our slice and bake shortbread cookies are done. I am so ready to eat them, but I just want to show you some of the color on the bottoms. Look at that, that's gorgeous. You're gonna go from a range from this to this. That's what you're going for. You can tell on the edges of them when they're in the oven and you're looking at them, that's when you'll know that they're done. So you want this little tiny bit of brown and then you're set. All right, so I've got some on a plate here. We're gonna go ahead and put a couple more just to make a nice little platter to serve to our friends or for me to eat all by myself. Maybe Keith can have some later. And when I plate my cookies, I really just like to go willy-nilly because they don't need to be perfect, and a big pile of cookies is just fun. All right, I think we're just gonna throw them all on here. So this platter of cookies is ready to go. If you serve them up after dinner or something with a cup of coffee, people are going to die. Yes. Oh yeah, that pairs so well together. The cookie's nice, crumbly, buttery, salty, everything you want in a cookie, right? Oh my god. Love shortbread. So good. Alright, I hope you found this video super fun and super helpful. When you get around to making these slice and bake shortbread cookies, make sure to let me know what you thought about them in the comments, and I will see you next time for more party food fun. Bye!